Jalen Reagor getting traded to Minnesota changes nothing.
6'4" guys running 4.4s. These guys don't grow on trees. And a lot of times I'm willing to bet on, especially long term, on the freak athlete.
You don't ever want to overreact to what guys look like in preseason. There's been a ton of preseason all-stars that never make rosters or never pan out.
And good morning, Belly Up Fantasy Live Sunday edition here for Week 8. Welcome all of our London viewers. I know you're watching right now with this beautiful game on right now between Denver and Jacksonville. To get everyone updated who does not have ESPN Plus, who is not able to watch this, we do have a 10-7 game Jacksonville leading going into halftime right now. So we will keep you updated with anything that happens during this game while we were live. But as always, joined with me, Mr. Chase Thornton and Kevin Wilson. How are you guys doing this morning?
Doing well so far. It's all like always. It's a little early, but we'll be all right. Just get some breakfast going here.
What are you drinking for breakfast this morning?
Well, actually, today it's going to be a Shiner Bock from down.
You're bringing on the power.
Yes,
right there.
Yeah, I always like a little bit of Bock or Marzen. I like to chew my beer. I like something with a little more flavor than the stuff that comes in a blue and silver can. Yeah,
I'm right there with you, Chase. I'm 100%, agreeing with you right there. So I'm with
when you're drinking it for breakfast, it's only proper that you have to chew it. So, Kevin, how are you this morning?
We're doing good out here, and we've had some weather that have passed through, but we got sunshine today, and so we're looking forward to some football today, and especially excited because we got the Giants and the Seahawks is on TV here, and so I'm looking forward to that.
Actually, get to watch your team today. That's all right.
That's right. So there's a trivia question. What's the only game that features two teams with both winning record? That would be the Seahawks and the Giants today. So
that's the fact that the Seahawks have a winning record is outrageous to me right now, and the fact that I didn't
had that before the season started. I'll put my hand down because I did not, right? And I'm as big as Seahawk fan as you'll find. So,
the fact that I didn't even realize the Seahawks had a winning record just shows how much attention I've been paying to the Seahawks this year.
Well, fantasy wise, we know we got to wise it up because Geno Smith has been making me grow all season long. And I don't see any reason why that should stop anytime soon.
We'll see how losing DK Metcalf for a little bit here does affect that. We'll see.
They're both supposed to play today, which is really shocking.
That's shocking considering that injury for Metcalf.
Especially that, yeah.
It feels like a decoy situation if you ask me, but we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Bengals, Browns on Monday night, Packers, Bills on Sunday night. I mean, if you'd have said, before the season, if you had said that Seahawks Giants was going to be the only matchup of two teams with winning records in Week 8.
Yeah,
I think everybody would have probably
cashed out big time in Vegas if you had bet that.
Yeah,
you could have.
Yeah, well, and look, there were some good games this week because yes, Bills Packers is not going to carry the weight that we thought it would at the beginning of the season. Packers 3-4 on the road. It feels like I'm sorry, Chase, but it does feel like this is just going to be I'm not going to say a blowout because it might not be a blowout, but it does feel like it feels like one of those Monday night game or Sunday night games that's just going to be kind of boring, like where you expected fireworks, but it's really just going to be kind of uneventful. Bills are just going to kind of control the clock and maybe win. Like, what's the over on this game right now? Actually, the over under 50. Is 47.
Well, is it 47 now? It's come down because it wasn't 50 and a half, I think.
I'm sure it depends on where you're looking right now. I'm just on ESPN right now, and it just says over under 47. So I'm not sure where they're getting that from, but either way, 50, 47, somewhere around there. It feels like this could be a game that's just a simple under because they're just not doing too much.
I think it's more exciting to watch if. And I'm not saying this because I'm a Packer fan. There's a logic to what I'm saying. If the Packers end up winning this game, I think it's a much better game to watch. Because, like I said this on Wednesday night too.
That's right.
It would not shock anybody if this game ended up 45-17 Bills.
Yeah. But
it also wouldn't be the biggest shock for this game to end up like 31-24 Packers.
Yeah.
That's the frustrating thing about Green Bay this year is. Like I don't know. you keep expecting them to maybe do something, like
expect
poke
them to
with
be
a
Green
stick.
Bay.
Come on, do something.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they just haven't seemed to show up at all. But at the same time, again, on the third hand, like I said, it wouldn't shock anybody to see the Packers win a close game.
Yeah.
It also would be, completely in character for this game, like I said, to be an absolute blowout by the Bills. I think it's a much better game to watch if the Packers are at the very least leading late, because I think
at least be in the game.
Yeah,
don't let it be 45-10 in the fourth.
I don't think the Bills win a close game. I think the Bills either crush this one or somehow have their one-off week of the year.
So here's what I'm going to be watching that's going to kind of determine how I feel this game goes. Is if Christian Watson is in fact active tonight, I think he's going to be able to allow the Packers to do some more interesting things, because they showed a willingness in preseason and early on in the season to use him in a bit. I don't want to say a full gadget role, but they were using him out of the backfield. They were finding excuses to get him the ball because they recognize his explosiveness and his playmaking ability. If he's active tonight, I think it changes the offense a bit, and maybe it allows them to finally get a run game going. They've had zero willingness to run the ball, even though they have Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon back there. It is baffling me what the Packers have been doing. It's like, sure, Rodgers seems to be uninterested in playing right now with the way he's carrying himself on the field, and they've not been exciting. But just from a coaching standpoint, too, just the game planning has been shocking to me to this point.
I don't know if you guys followed it at all, but his comments on the Pat McAfee show on Tuesday, where he said that if guys aren't doing it right, then maybe get other guys in there to play. And I'm thinking, who the hell? I mean, who are you talking about here? Because your receiver core is who you have right now, and 89% of them are hurt, so they can't play. Who the hell else are you going to put in there who hasn't already been in there? Samori Toure, your 7th round pick. I mean, yeah, they put him in there last week. He caught one pass. Great. He's Amari Rodgers without the 2 years of experience. I wonder who he's talking about that could be getting play who's not. I mean, at least on the offensive side. Maybe he's talking about the line. I don't know. I know he's a big fan of Josh Nijman, who has not played as much as I'm sure Aaron would prefer, because he seems to be one of Aaron's guys. But are you talking about the offensive line, Aaron? Are you talking about the defense? Because if you're talking about the defense, I know you're the quarterback, but back off. That's not your area. Yeah.
Yeah, slow your roll.
Right. I don't know. But either way, I think it's either a complete crush tonight, or if the Packers win it all, it's going to be a close one. It definitely will not be 45-17 Green Bay.
Yeah, and I'm gonna quickly look, because I do think it is when he's making that comment. I do think he's trying to send a message to the line. And I also think Aaron Rodgers has proven that he's got zero ability to look in the mirror and realize where he's been doing anything wrong this season too. So I don't dismiss that completely, but I do think he's talking about the line. I'm quickly looking up his pressure rate. It looks like he's only had a pocket time. He's one of the lower pocket times at 2.2 seconds. He's 15 times already, 19 knockdowns, hurried 25 times. He's amongst the higher end of all the kind of QB pressured metrics, and he's only being blitzed. So this is the thing. He's not being blitzed an outrageous amount of times. He's been blitzed where I just lost it because I didn't.
Well, teams are smart enough to know that he's smart enough to pick apart a blitz. Blitz doesn't necessarily work against him as well as covering everybody and making his line block for him, because, like you said, they don't appear to be blocking all that hot this year. Bakhtiari being hurt hasn't helped him at all, but they feel like they're still trying to put together pieces on that line and figure out who they want where. They keep shuffling dudes around.
Because he's been blitzed 50 times compared to Lamar Jackson has been blitzed 83. So he's actually on the lower end of the blitz rate.
Because the down linemen are getting home, so they don't need to blitz.
Well, and that's where I'm assuming the frustration is going to be about the line, because he knows that he shouldn't be getting pressured as much as he is. But I mean, he's also had to deal with some drops, but that's going to happen when you got a young rookie kind of core wide receivers. You got to expect some drops. You got to kind of go with the punches, and it just seems to nothing be clicking right now for the Packers.
And I mean, you just talked about Lamar Jackson's been blitzed 870,000 times or whatever
Yeah.
it was. I mean, there's your strategy right there, though. You want to get the ball out of Lamar Jackson's hands as quickly as possible.
Yes, because the longer he has it, the more likely he is to run around.
If you don't blitz him, if you let him survey the field, he's a good enough passer. When he surveys the field, he can pick you apart that way.
Yes.
Or if you've covered everybody and he gets a lane,
That's right. He'll get outside the pocket. Next thing you know, he's got 11 yards downfield.
So if you blitz him and force him to make that decision early, get the ball out of his hands early, he doesn't have a great receiver core either outside of Mark Andrews.
And he hasn't been bringing home the bacon either.
Whereas Rodgers plays a much more. He's one where the decision making is his whole game. He's a capable runner, but he's not the runner he was earlier in his career, and he's never been a Steve Young, right?
No.
But so with Rodgers, yeah, okay, fine. If we can cover guys and make him have to throw it, have to either throw it away or hold on to it, they'll take their chances that way with him rather than having him be able to scheme up his hot read that he does so well. So yeah, getting the ball out of Lamar's hands is a great strategy. But right now, yeah, the longer you can make Aaron hold it, the better chance you got of getting home because his offensive line is not that great.
Yeah, Rodgers has looked a bit like Brady in his last year with the Pats in 2019, where he just seems to be willing to go down. He's willing to just kind of end the play if it's not looking his way. And move on to the next one. So yeah, I'll definitely curious to see what's going on there. And then I want to get your take before we get into some specific games and fantasy here. I want to get your guys' opinion on a take that I've slowly been pushing more the past few days, the past week. It was one I developed a few weeks ago. But when it comes to the Saints, Michael Thomas is once again inactive for the Saints with this. I'm going to start doing this injury. Do I believe he was hurt? I do believe he was hurt. Do I believe he is still hurt to the level that he should be missing games?
Play.
I do not believe that. My take is that I believe Michael Thomas is choosing not to play at this point. I think he wants out of New Orleans. I don't think he likes the direction of the team. The younger guys around him, I think he sees the writing on the wall that he's not going to have the role he used to have, and I think he wants out for one last dance somewhere else. And I think at the end of the season, sometime in the offseason, we will see him somewhere else. I don't know what his contract situation is. I got to look that up. But what do you think? There's any level to that water? I guess.
Well, Michael Thomas. I mean, we know he's been disgruntled before. He's been that guy before.
He's been that way for a year.
More than that, even
even more than that. Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me if that was the case. If what you're talking about is the case there, Andrew. I mean, they were not worried about that injury when it first happened. All we heard was
they weren't. Exactly.
He'll be back a week or two, maybe. And here we are a month and a half later. And I mean, he doesn't look any closer to coming back than he did the day it happened. So, I mean, you don't want to think that way about guys, but at the same time, if you're acting that way, you're acting that way. It's not like we haven't seen guys hold out before or head case out before. So, there are other places that he could probably be a big help. Definitely. I don't know how many people can afford him though.
So that is the thing. I did just pull up the contract. He doesn't become an unrestricted free agent until 2025 because I forgot he signed that 5-year extension just a couple of years ago that was worth a ton. The total worth of $96 million. So yeah, he's going to be expensive. 35 of that was guaranteed at signing. So. Excuse me. I think the only way he gets out of this is obviously a trade, or if they just come to some sort of agreement where he just gets cut in the offseason.
If he's not on the field, who wants to trade for him? That's the problem you have when you're pulling something like that. Well, I want to go to another team, so I'll pull a James Harden, but
he's got a couple void years at the end of his contract there that help things out a little bit, but he's still owed money and under contract for 2 more years after this, and he's got a pretty major cap hit whether you cut him or not. So
yeah, this year his cap hit is $13 million. Oh god, and then 20. So this is where they could decide to just cut if they're gonna not be able to come to some sort of agreement. He could be someone who gets cut in the offseason because so he's $13 million cap hit this year, but then starting next year and the year after, it's $28 million and $27 million cap hit. That's massive to your point.
That takes down your whole team.
That's why it wouldn't shock me if the Saints do just if they know they're not going to make it work, and they also know because he's not playing that they're not going to be able to get a suitable trade partner, then they might just have to cut him. He might be one of those last day of training camp cuts.
And we'll see because the training deadline is coming up. So if they're going to do anything this year.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's traded this year. I think this is all an off-season thing. I think he's kind of done
Tuesday,
for the year. Is what I'm
right?
saying.
The trade deadline is Tuesday.
It's Tuesday at like 4 or something like that.
So if he's not playing, no one's trading for him. No,
he's not going to get traded right now. If someone did then I don't know what would happen. But I think this is all offseason. I think I'm not sure we're going to see Michael Thomas take the field again this year. And I think it's going to be
so either because he's looking out there, he sees Chris Olave. And that's the present and the future. I'm past, so maybe I'll just put my foot up and we'll see what happens next year.
I don't know. Trading him saves them a lot of money. It seems like so.
Well, yeah, if they can,
but they're going to have dead money anyway. But I think
there's going to be dead money big time.
But
there,
to Kevin's point, though, I'm not sure anybody.
It takes two partners to dance.
Yeah, I'm not sure anybody's going to be willing to trade for him for a value that the Saints are willing to do. That's the thing. And I mean, sorry, I got distracted here. Please recover that, Jacksonville. Okay. Sorry, Denver just forced a fumble, but Jacksonville did recover, so I am happy because here's the thing: I have Jacksonville's defense this morning. I'm also going up against Denver's defense this morning in my home league. So
I have them as well, and I've ridden Jacksonville's defense for 3 weeks now. They've been disappointing. Pressed to, I'll ride them today, and then I'm moving on. After that.
Oh yeah, I picked them up this morning just for a streamer. I was really holding out on not picking up a defense because I didn't have anyone I wanted to drop. I was trying all week to pull off a 3-for-2 or 2-for-1 trade to clear that roster spot, and I couldn't make it happen.
There are too many people that have two defenses on their team, and I don't understand that at all from a fantasy perspective.
Not at this point of the year. At this point
why do you have two defenses? That makes
when we get to the end game portion of the season where you're trying to set yourself up for playoff success in that, I mean, then you get down to the point where you're not going to be hurt if Devin Duvernay's not on your roster, and you might be really well served to pick up the next week's good defense. But at this point in the season where we're over halfway in terms of the regular fantasy season right now. We basically at the halfway point of the fantasy regular season.
We are, yeah.
The end game portion,
week 14 is the end of fantasy season.
Yeah,
in
most leagues.
Most leagues. It isn't ours. All the ones I'm playing in it is.
This is where you got to start really analyzing your team and saying if you do have a realistic shot and you're stashing some guys on your bench who have been injured and they might be coming back later, depending on where you are as far as your shot goes to make the playoffs, you might have to cut bait with some of these guys and start turning your team over for a win-now situation. Or these guys coming back are going to mean nothing for you.
Yeah, especially if you're in fantasy and you're going down the tubes, it might be time to see what kind of trades you can make.
Yeah, I am regretting. So last week, I did not get the win last week, guys. Even though you talked me into doing the whole pick up Mariota, drop Kirk Cousins, that thing, which I don't think I would have won no matter what. I'm not blaming that for my reason of loss. But now what hurts is that one of the teams in first place in my home league did go out and pick up Kirk Cousins immediately before I could get him back because where waivers not fab. And he already has Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. It's a super flex league, so now he just has Kirk Cousins sitting on his bench, and it's killing me because now I have Jared Goff, Aaron Rodgers, and Marcus Mariota as my 3 quarterbacks. So I'm starting Mariota and Goff this week and living on a prayer. I have the lead in the projected lead win now, but this has not been a pretty season in this one league. All my other leagues, I'm like first place, 5-2, whatever.
Yeah, one dynasty league, I'm 5-2, looking good. The other one, it's going downhill fast. So I'm one of those ones that may have to make some moves for next year.
Yeah, and look, I've already and this is a good example because in one of my leagues I'm tied for first, 5-2. I have one of the highest points scored in the league. So it's one of those where I deserve to be up there because the points scored and against make sense as well. Sometimes you get those those first place teams. Damn, my dog is going crazy. I apologize. Sometimes you get those first place teams that have just gotten good matchups. So I've started looking forward, and I went ahead. I'm kind of weak at the quarterback position there. I went ahead and picked up Deshaun Watson for $1 off Fab and stashing him on my bench because if I make the playoffs, he comes back. And the state of the Browns right now, you know, he might be useful for me in the playoffs if he jumps right in and takes over. So, you know, certain moves like that you got to start thinking about depending on where you are in your standings.
Yeah, if he doesn't come in and jump right in, that's a huge problem for Cleveland.
It sure is. But look, we're gonna get to a quick break here from Manscaped, and then when we come back, we're gonna start breaking down some of these games for you for this beautiful Sunday morning. Fall foliage wherever you are, it's just gorgeous out today. So tune in we'll be right back after this break from Manscaped.
Welcome to Fresh Ball Fall. It's the season of pumpkin spice and making sure your crotch looks nice. That means sipping cider in a fall breeze and using Manscaped products to trim your balls with ease. That's right, today's show is brought to you by Manscaped, a company here to make sure that your foliage isn't the only thing shedding its excess leaves. Heck, even Mother Nature knows it's time to lose the excess clutter for fall. Join the 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping when you use the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY. Whether you're brand new or already with us at Manscaped, you could use the crown jewel of care for your family jewels, the Platinum Package 4.0. This glorious package, you can align your entire hygiene routine all in one swoop. Inside the 10-part Platinum Package is everything you know and love about the Performance Package, plus some shower goodies included to elevate your grooming game to platinum. You can now completely upgrade your shower routine with the Ultra Premium Body Wash and Ultra Premium 2-in-1 Shampoo and Conditioner. You'll have your skin and hair feeling hydrated and smelling fresh. Don't forget to apply their aluminum-free Ultra Premium Deodorant. And don't worry, it's not pumpkin spice, it's a cologne-quality fragrance. Get the Platinum Package this fall. These products are guaranteed to be hits for your dangly bits. Go to manscaped.com to get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com when you use the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY. Manscaped, clear out the leaves. It's your tree trunk's time to shine.
And welcome back, Belly Up
Yeah,
Fantasy Live.
I don't know how he says dangly bit with a straight face.
It's a special talent he has.
He
for
does.
sure.
He's got a special talent.
But let's jump into this. And look, I'm going to go to you guys first in your games. I feel like I always steal one of your games when I go first. So I'm going to let you guys have the floor first for a game that you're looking forward to. And look, we've had a few trades this year, this week so far. And I think it's speaking to that. This is going to be one of the more exciting trade deadlines of the NFL that we've seen in recent years. You know, obviously James Robinson moving to the Jets showing a commitment to really trying to go for it this year. And look, the AFC East somehow right now could possibly put in 3 teams into the playoffs, which is an absolute shocker to me.
It's a shocker because Zach Wilson hasn't thrown a touchdown in 3 weeks, but yet they're winning.
Exactly. So you know that's a big move by them. Obviously, Kadarius Toney going to the Chiefs not only helps him, but it really opens up Wan'Dale Robinson in New York. So I'm sure we're going to get to some of those guys. But Kevin, why don't you hit us first? What game are you looking at this week for a big fantasy impact?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, the game I'm looking for is my hometown Seattle Seahawks and the New York Giants. And as you mentioned, the Giants have one loss, and you got Barkley back there, and it's going to be interesting to see what exactly happens with the Giants receivers, as you just mentioned, with Toney out of there. Robinson is Slayton, who picks up the slack there, and Daniel Jones is an absolute, if you have him, must start guy this week.
He might be the rest of the year, honestly.
He might be. The way he's been running this week. You know, the Seattle defense has played better, but there's no other way they could have been.
You're telling me there's some credence to Joe Judge ruining Daniel Jones, and the second Joe Judge leaves?
That's right. So
shocker. My point with him all along.
He had over 100 yards rushing last week.
I know.
And a touchdown. And so that sets him up well going up against Seattle. They're playing in Seattle, so that's going to be a different situation up there. And I had a Giants fan tell me, well, they don't travel well, but they traveled to London
Yeah,
and won that game.
This is a different
So
Giants team. I think.
so I'm not buying into that. So I think it's going to be a great game. And I had no expectation whatsoever of the receivers. You know, I didn't think he'd play at all, and so it's going to be interesting to see. And Kenneth Walker is absolutely running all over the place, and so I had the choice of which running back from Seattle I wanted. I picked the wrong one.
Yep.
That's not his fault. He got hurt. That's the way it goes. But Walker has stepped in there, and I wrote it down here. He ran all. He had 167 yards and 2 touchdowns last week. So we'll see how because the Giants are 13th against running backs on defense. So we'll see how that works out. And you know, the man back there, the quarterback, Geno Smith, who I said, please don't let it be true. Okay.
Making it work.
yeah, please don't let this be true. But he has made it work all season long. So I'm looking forward to seeing what exactly game do we see here. I think it's going to, even though the Giants have a better defense, I think we're going to see some offensive plays here in this game. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, that's a good one for sure. And just a quick update before we get into that further. Denver Broncos now have the lead, 14-10. And look, Greg Dulcich's big catch and run down to the one.
I was just going to say, I know we've talked before that Russell Wilson doesn't like tight ends. He might like Greg Dulcich because Greg Dulcich had about 830,000 receiving yards on that one drive alone. He got him off of it, right? You were big on him. He got him off the goal line. He got him to about midfield, and then he got him down. I mean, shoot.
Greg Dulcich's
on that drive was Greg Dulcich.
Dulcich is 4 for 87 so far today, so he's second on the team in receiving right now. So
and Russell Wilson has 205 yards passing. That might be his high watermark already.
Yeah,
I'll have to look at that.
You might be right, actually. Without looking at it, you might be right. But let's do return to that.
It isn't, but it's probably going to be before the end of the game.
Let's return to that Giants-Seahawks game because I do agree with you. That was going to be the game that I would have won to. That's why I had a feeling, Kevin, so I didn't want to steal it from you, so I gave it to you first.
I appreciate that.
Because it's always your game that seems to get stolen by someone else. But look, it's pretty simple for me. Wan'Dale Robinson was someone that I made a point to go out and try to get all week in trades. I think trading Tony this week was
absolutely
a sign that the Giants. Well, it helped them obviously, but I think that was a sign that the Giants had like what they see and they are confident.
I've had enough. They had enough of Tony, no question, and Robinson and Slayton and their offense works without him.
Well, it was
getting rid of Tony is just a headache out the door for.
But I think that if Tony is available in your league, it's a guy you're going to definitely want to look at because he's going to the Chiefs.
Sure.
And the Chiefs are not concerned apparently about his injury past.
That's the thing. The Giants, were willing to trade him away, but the Chiefs were also willing to get him.
That's right.
And I forget what the exact return was for, but it's not like they paid a super cheap price for.
No, they conditional third and a sixth.
Yeah, look, they paid a
this is the guy that they drafted first round.
They paid a bigger price than the Chiefs, than the Jets paid for James Robinson, which is outrageous how cheap they were able to get James Robinson, considering how desperate they apparently were. So that's showing something that I think you're right. The Chiefs do plan on using Tony. In our Belly Up Staff League, I did make a trade to go out and get Wan'Dale Robinson, and I'm happy with that because especially for this week, I needed the help.
That makes sense to me. It makes
Chase,
sense.
you said earlier in the week you were worried about me because I was making so many roster moves. That's because my entire bench was either hurt or on bye, and I was starting the likes of Mike Thomas and not Michael Thomas.
No, Mike Thomas, from Cincinnati. Yeah.
So I needed to, which I am now still starting because then I realized, well, crap, I have Wan'Dale Robinson and Darius Slayton now. I don't really want to start them both on the same team. Which
having both of them may not work. That may not be the end.
No, my phone just wouldn't shut up. Blink, 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 blink. It sounded like Mario getting coins. I was like, what the hell is going on? And I look up and it's like, oh yeah, real Mr. Mallard made a monster move. Sleeper again.
And now that I say
Okay.
that, I actually am now. I think I am going to put Darius Slayton back in there and start both Slayton and Robinson for this week only.
Why not?
Because just given that game and the way the Giants have been moving the ball offensively, I think this does open up for Slayton too. The move of Tony out, it's going to get him more snaps, and he's been one of the guys who's been doing well for them this year.
Slayton's a more outside receiver, and Robinson's a more
either one of
inside
them could be
receiver.
wide receiver one for them. Either one of them.
And with Bellinger missing time too, they're going to need to figure out and again rebalance that new normal in there. They've had so many injuries on their receiving core. It seems like they've been trying to figure it out all year, but yet Daniel Jones just kind of keeps on scoring. He keeps rolling along, running the ball. But Slayton is much more the outside receiver type that you want. He's bigger than Robinson. Robinson's a small guy. He's not much bigger than I am, height-wise. I'd probably outweigh him. But yeah, Robinson is much more that inside guy, slot guy, and I think that the Bellinger injury, they don't have a ton behind Bellinger at tight end with Chris Miarek and.
Well, but I do believe Chris Miarek could be at least a DFS play. I'm not saying going at him for your full season, but in DFS at what was he? He was like 2,800 in DFS.
Oh yeah, and he's like, definitely
just based off Daniel Jones' willingness and comfort level with Bellinger in the tight end position this year, it's worth a shot considering the tight end position in DFS. So I am doing that. But okay, no comments on Chris Miarek. Okay, we'll leave him be.
That's an island that you're going to live or die on by yourself, right there. So.
Well, I'm not exactly living or dying on it. I am playing him for cheap in DFS and just to be different, and that's what DFS is all about. It's a GPP format. Yeah, it's GPP format, so it's just to try to be different, especially when you guys have guys like Darren Waller, who has been nothing much to be happy about this year.
Yeah,
he's a game time decision this week, and so there's guys are going to be looking to fill some spots in DFS lineups and tight end. So, and Logan Thomas is coming back. I'm just quickly looking at some tight end injuries now. But yeah, so
once you get past Kelsey, I mean, it's almost a horse apiece.
Yeah, you might as well just throw some dice up in the air and whatever you come up with. There you go.
Goddard and Ertz are relatively safe plays usually most weeks, but I mean,
which I have
Goddard. Not a whole lot out there.
All it's holy that I have him. So.
I've got Goddard and Ertz spread out across a few weeks.
And actually, pretty big injury news here that actually came out yesterday that I somehow missed yesterday afternoon. But Van Jefferson was activated off the IR, and he will be playing today. I was hoping actually we would get one more week just because of the state of some of my teams of bye weeks. I don't have much flexibility to drop guys this week. But Van Jefferson is a guy that I want to be adding to my teams because the way, one, they need some sort of boost in that passing offense outside of Cooper Kupp. And two, the way McVay has been talking about Van Jefferson, I think they plan to use him. So
he's a vertical threat. They've used him in the past before. He's been fantasy viable as their third receiver before. So
if you're in my fantasy league, Allen Robinson is available. That just goes to show you what kind of season he has.
I might drop AJ Dillon to pick up Van Jefferson right now, just because my receiver core on this home league team is where all my injuries are, and is killing me. And nobody wants AJ Dillon. I can't trade him. I tried.
Right? No, I have to. I have him in a couple leagues. I think I just dropped him in one league to pick up. Somehow Robinson was still on the wire. Not Brian. Wandale was still on the. So I dropped Dillon in a heartbeat for Robinson because I was strong at running back there and I needed the help at receiver.
Whoa! I apologize. Somebody's weed whacking or something else.
Apparently.
Real fast, Chase.
You've got all kinds of activity going on over there.
While I mute myself until that is done. Chase, hit us with your fantasy game of the week.
All right, the one I'm looking at, the one that's got me interested, I'm curious, my curiosity's peaked, is the 49er Ram game. Specifically, I want to look at the backfields of those two teams. I think we've all seen, obviously, the one trade already that brought CMC to San Francisco and has us all hyped up for his fantasy work there. But the other side of the field for Los Angeles, I think we're all waiting to see the trade happen and waiting to see where Cam Akers goes if they can offload him. I'm not necessarily excited about Cam Akers wherever he goes.
Yeah, he's not even played.
I have not been big on him. I wasn't big on him to start the year. And I'm still not big on him, but he could find himself in a better situation somewhere else, I guess. But my only thoughts with that, though, or my biggest thought with that,
He's already in a good situation, which he's not made advantage.
He was already in a situation where the job was his for the taking, and he failed to grab it by the throat and take a hold of it. Where else is he going to go that he's going to have a better situation than that? He might go someplace with a better offensive line, but it's not like Darrell Henderson wasn't running behind the same damn line.
That's true. It's 100% true.
And Kyron Williams is running behind that same line.
And to be fair, Darrell Henderson has also been hot garbage. So,
well, the only thing that saved him last week is he had a touchdown. Other than that, it's nothing to get excited
He's
about.
At least all. That offense as a whole outside of Cooper Kupp has been tough to watch. And somewhat has been tough to watch. Garbage. But if Akers couldn't take that opportunity there, where else is he going to go where he's going to really seize that opportunity over anybody else? I'm trying to think of a situation he could go to where I would be like, yeah, he's better than the guy they've already got. And I honestly don't see one.
And that
where
might
he's
be the
head and
case.
shoulders above.
It might be the case for Cam Akers himself, but when it comes to the Rams situation as a whole now, look, this is an offensive system and scheme that has been proven to work in a multi-level facet. The fact that it's just Cooper Kupp right now, and Tyler Higbee as well. But the fact that it's just those two guys right now is not what we're used to seeing out of a Sean McVay offense, especially with Stafford.
Sony Michel was usable in that system last year.
Exactly. So, and because of that, because of Cam Akers, being Cam Akers situation, Darrell Henderson not really flashing and grabbing that job. Kyren Williams is someone that, as he's getting ready to come off IR, after these games this week, that he's going to be one of my main waiver wire pickups this week, because I think McVay is going to be looking for someone to do something at that position. And so far, Brown he's never been the answer. Malcolm Brown has never been the answer. Darrell Henderson, like I said, is just not doing it. Kyren Williams is obviously a rookie he might be able to provide a spark. It might not work out, but I'm willing to take the chance that they give him a shot for 1 week and see what he does with it.
It looked, before the whole Akers drama situation, it looked like they were trying to move to a system where they would give Akers the rundowns and Henderson was going to be much more used as a pass catching back out of the backfield.
Yes.
And with Williams coming off, they may actually try and slot them into those same roles again. They may try it again, put Williams in as more of a running back and Henderson in as more of a receiving back. And we'll see, who knows, but either way, I am interested to see the usage today. I am interested to see if we get some movement on the Cam Akers situation here in the next week. Well, it has to be in the next week because deadline
next
is
2 days.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in that. I would like to see how they pass the ball against the decent defense with San Francisco. If they can get anybody other than Cooper Kupp involved. But then I would like to see, now that McCaffrey has had a full week to practice with everybody and get acclimated and actually learn some things and not just run a few tricks out of the backfield or whatever else. I was surprised that he led the team in carries last week for having been there for about 8 minutes.
But also without Deebo Samuel there now, he's
right.
And
with Deebo Samuel out,
be leaned on.
Deebo Samuel is out. That's right.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm interested to see now with a full week under his belt and with Deebo out. Let's see how CMC. Maybe we get one of those vintage CMC games where he catches 1,000 balls and runs for 82 yards and 2 scores. And it would really be nice to see that. And also now, can Ayuk step up then in the absence of Deebo Samuel?
Ayuk is definitely the guy that needs to step up this week. No question.
He's the guy that needs to step up.
I was looking at Kittle, but the Rams have the number 1 defense against tight ends in the NFL. So maybe this is not the week to be looking to him.
Right.
Well,
he's always been kind of peaks and valleys. His peaks are awesome, but his valleys hurt because you're hoping and expecting some points out of him with where you have to draft him.
Well, he had 9 targets last week, and he did catch a touchdown, but
he had a decent national title.
He had a decent game, but like I said, the Rams are number 1 team against tight ends.
Right. So it might be a Juwan Jennings,
you got to start him if you have him.
Ray McLeod type day.
So
I would like to see Ayuk step up.
So Ayuk should step up. He needs to.
He does.
him to be
And,
continue to be a
he had
legitimate.
11 targets last week, so that's he's right in line to step up big this week.
Here's what I'm looking at from a DFS standpoint in this game. Jawan Jennings is 3,300. He's someone who has stepped in and from a DFS standpoint has easily hit value in the past when injuries have hit this team. So Jawan Jennings is someone I am playing in on DraftKings today, and I just adjusted a lineup where I do have Jawan Jennings and Christian McCaffrey both in the same DFS lineup. We're going to see what we can do there. But before we get to our next break for True Classic Tees here, let's quickly run down some now true news from injury updates here. Darren Waller is officially inactive, so that doesn't change much there. Honestly, I think the Saints win that game at home anyways, regardless whether he was in there or not. Ezekiel Elliott also officially inactive. Amon-Ra St. Brown,
there's no mystery there.
Expected as well. Amon-Ra St. Brown did clear protocol. He's active. And Mac Hollins is officially back active for the Raiders, so maybe another option there for Derek Carr, someone who looked promising kind of early.
I liked him earlier in the season. I'm not so big on him now. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. So we'll see where he can pick back up. That's just something to keep an eye on, not something to go out and make any changes for.
I need Hunter Renfrow to step up. So
you really just want to make sure you can save.
Yeah, I don't want to have to eat any more crow when it comes to between me and Dan. So that would be nice if I could actually get some fresh bird involved. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we will see. We will see. But real fast, we're going to take a quick break here. We're going to hear from True Classics, and then when we come back, we're going to continue breaking down some games and talk about some start sets. So we will be right back after this break.
Football is back, baby, and our new sponsor, True Classic, wants you to look and feel your best even after a couple of brewskis or going full force on your fantasy football draft. Sure, it's football season, but it's also butt-to-couch season. Luckily, True Classic has the absolute best-fitting clothing a man can buy. Snug in the arms and chest with a little extra space in the torso, their t-shirts are designed to keep you cozy and highlight your best assets no matter what you're up to. So if your special someone is upset that you're watching football all day, at least you can look good doing it. True Classic has already helped over 2 million men find the perfect fit at an affordable price. Our listeners get access to the best deal they offer. For a limited time only, get 25% off with the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY at TrueClassic.com. Almost all men's t-shirts are designed to look good on skinny models with six-packs, but most of us aren't packing anything but a few beers. Fellas, you are wearing the wrong clothes. True Classic tees taper off towards the bottom, but they fit tighter around the chest and shoulders. It's time to highlight your best attributes with a t-shirt you can always confidently throw on. It's about time to get your fit together, so upgrade your wardrobe with True Classic and get 25% off at TrueClassic.com with promo code BELLYUPFANTASY. Free shipping included on purchases over $100. That's 25% off at TrueClassic.com with the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY. If there's one bet you should make this football season, it's on True Classic. True Classic, look good, feel good.
And welcome back. Look, True Classic still the most comfortable t-shirts I own, so huge shout out to them. We love having them as a sponsor. And
let's go back real quick before we move on here. Let's go back to Hunter Renfrow, because Hunter Renfrow is a guy that I was big on too, and I was actually on your side of this argument with Dan. Kevin. The unfortunate thing about it is that we're seeing some of that same Devontae Adams effect that we saw in Green Bay always, where he's the guy that they want to throw to all the time. Hunter Renfrow had 128 targets last season. Okay, he ended up the wide receiver 13, so we know Hunter Renfrow has talent. We know he can be a guy, but he also caught over 80% of his balls thrown his way last year. He was the
Najee Harris of receivers.
He was and of anybody who had, there were a couple guys who had 3 passes thrown their way that caught 100%. But if you look at the guys who were actual regular players, he was far and away the tops in the league in terms of his catch percentage. That's gone down this year. His targets per game have gone way down. He averaged about 7.5 targets a game last year, and this year he's under 6. He's lost some of those opportunities from last year. Even if you take out the games that he's missed, the games that he's played, he's missing out on opportunities that he got last year, and he's not catching as many of them that are thrown his way. it is a recipe for regression, unfortunately. But I'm right there with you, Kevin. I think they need to use him more, especially with Darren Waller out. They need to use him more.
They need
Everybody
to
knows
use
they
the
want to
3
throw it
wide
to
receiver
Adams.
sets and
And why the hell wouldn't you want to throw it Devontae
Why?
Adams?
That's
He's
exactly
Devontae
it.
Adams. But Hunter Renfrow was 13th, and he was wide receiver 13.
Mm-hmm.
Throw to him. Give him the
Well,
damn
Devontae
ball.
Adams,
just
Adams
go
is,
and throw the ball.
and Adams is.
I mean, you got to give it to
having an
Josh
illness this
Jacobs
week.
because he has blown the doors off the place. People were really down on him. He is another guy I was up on, and so I'm glad to see that he is doing it.
I feel good for him for doing it.
Yeah.
I think he's proven
They're
going
going to run him in the ground. They have no reason not to because he won't be there next year.
Well, look, here's let's get into. We do have a comment here from Darren, and this is actually a good topic to talk about here because in one of my leagues that I am tied for first in at 5-2, and I have CMC. I was actually actively shopping CMC this week because I was looking for a better situation. Not, I shouldn't say a better situation. A situation that I was more comfortable with as far as looking for someone who had an early buy that I don't have to worry about bye weeks going down the road. Like I'm looking for that slight edge, and because he's CMC, I was figuring I might be able to get a Josh Jacobs type plus some sort of upside wide receiver or a receiver who's been hurt who I think might pop off. Same thing. So I was actually shopping him in that league. I wasn't able to pull off a trade, but look, I'm not against going out and trying to trade CMC or Debo right now. If you get the right package for your team, no one's
that always
untouchable.
makes sense if you get the right package because I got CMC in one of my leagues too.
Yeah,
and everybody tries to lowball it. I'm not doing that. I understand where they're coming from. That they want to win the trade or whatever, but I didn't fall off the turnip truck, so I'm not gonna just. Especially now he's in a much better situation. Why would I want to trade CMC?
No, I agree with that. I think either one of these guys, with both of these guys, especially with CMC. CMC is a guy that I am not worried about losing the trade if I'm acquiring CMC. If I'm giving up 2 great wide receivers or whatever for Christian McCaffrey, if I needed him on my roster, I wouldn't be going after him if I didn't need him on my roster. And I wouldn't be giving up wide receivers if I couldn't afford it. I'm not worried about losing a trade if I get back what I need and what's going to make my team better. Okay. If you're sitting on the top 4 wide receivers in the league and you on your roster and you can only play 2 of them, then 2 of them are superfluous. Go out and get something for them. That's an extreme case. But my point is, I don't want to overpay for either one of those 2 guys, but I'm not worried about losing the trade to get CMC back if I want him, if I need it. If I'm selling either one of these guys, though, I am not underselling. There's no reason to get rid of these guys. You don't need to
undersell. I think that if you trade one of these 2 guys, the chances of you losing that trade are a lot bigger than if you're actually trading for him, one of these guys.
Sure. And look,
that's the way I see that. So if unless you get a package that's really that you think that helps your team, I'm not trading either one of these guys.
No, I don't see either one as a situation where you want to try and get out from under them. Like we said, we've all said it, and it should go without saying. But you want to win the trade always, okay? And you want to make sure that you're getting the best package back for anybody that you can in a trade always.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be CMC. That's true of any trade.
But these are not 2 guys that I would be actively shopping at all.
No, I would. I've got, like I said, I got CMC. I'm not.
It depends on how far.
I'm not. I didn't post out there, "Hey, I'm looking to trade him." That didn't do that.
If you need to shake your roster up, go ahead and do it. But otherwise, I'm not actively looking at it. I think that they're not guys that I'm scared about losing the trade for. If I'm trying to go get them, I'll shove a big trade proposal out there for either one of them if I feel like it helps my team. But I wouldn't be actively shopping them.
Well, let's get to another game here. Look, the game I'm looking at here actually is at the 1:00 game here. It's between the Cardinals and the Vikings in Minnesota today. I think there's a lot of it. Obviously, we now get another week of DeAndre Hopkins being back, seeing how that affects Kyler Murray's productivity, which it helped in the first week.
You had to like what you saw out of
exactly.
You had to.
Which we expected because this was D-Hop coming off a suspension, not an injury. So this is D-Hop
That's right.
sitting there.
So you had to be high
fighting.
fiving everybody for miles around if you had D-Hop.
Yeah. So I think I'm curious to see how that continues. And look, James Conner out. Eno Benjamin, someone who has been an exciting backup running
I've got
back.
him, and I'm starting him this week. So
Yes,
talk about somebody you're starting. I am starting him.
Yes, Eno Benjamin is someone I would be starting too. I'm starting him probably as a pretty solid running back too, like with no questions asked as far as who I'm starting him above. So Eno Benjamin definitely someone both in DFS standpoint. He's going to probably be a little chalky in DFS, but that's okay.
Even though Minnesota's mid-range against running backs, I'm still doing it.
Yep, and then I believe I'm going to double check that I don't put my foot in my mouth here because I'm now doubting myself now that I'm on the spot. I believe Irv Smith is healthy for Minnesota now.
Hold on.
So between Irv Smith, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison, it seems Kirk Cousins has his full arsenal of weapons, and he's at home, and obviously
that's not a bad start. Arizona's 31 against tight end. 31.
Yep. So that's why this is a game that I'm looking at for. I think the over/under right now is 48.5. Look, I'm taking the over. If I'm a betting guy, I'm going to bet the over on this game. I think there's enough firepower from the offensive weapons here, and not enough good defense to counter it, to where I think this can easily go over. This is why I'm kicking myself now for dropping Kirk Cousins last week, because I could have used him this week. If I lose this week in my home league, my season's pretty much done. I'll be 2-6, and that's you don't come back from that. So I'll just be trying to avoid last place, so I don't have to get a punishment. So yeah, that's the game I'm looking at. I think Kirk Cousins and Kyler Murray are both DFS startable guys today to be able to.
There are Arizona's 26th against quarterbacks, so Kirk Cousins is a solid player to have it.
This just feels like a ceiling kind of game for a lot of these guys. So it's definitely one that I'm going to be paying attention to from a lot of different angles. And yeah, look, the Cardinals, I think we all thought were going to be a little better to this point. 3-4, Vikings 5-1. There's real world football kind of implications on this game as well. So this one is going to be an interesting one for me. And then why not? Dolphins Lions.
So yeah, if you're talking about fantasy, Dolphins Lions is a place to look. No question to me.
Dolphins Lions both there, and look, here I go being crazy. I'm picking the Lions for the upset today. I'm gonna do it at home. It just feels like one of those days. 1-5 Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown coming back. Jared Goff going up against a beatable defense from a passing
Miami's
standpoint.
28th against quarterback, so there you have it for him.
It's just lining up to where I think the Lions might be able to edge one out here against the Dolphins.
It's a revenge game for Dan Campbell, man.
But I couldn't tell if you were yawning at first or doing an impression.
You can't tell with Dan Campbell either, man, except he doesn't yawn.
It just feels
it's a revenge game for him.
It is.
He's playing his old team. Man, they'll be out there fired up for him, man.
And I back my words because I bet the Lions in my weekly parlay too. Where I bet every game in my parlay. I pick the Lions.
This is a game to
look at.
Where his
mouth is. There you talk.
Putting the money where
Detroit 24th against quarterback. So Tua, good to go.
Believe me, if I hit my parlay, you guys will all know.
I have Tua ranked at 4. I have Tua ranked 4th this week. Yeah, I like Tua this week. Like you said, it's a good matchup for him, and he still has everybody in the world to throw to. Down there. He's got 2 top 8
right. The Miami defense is 20th against running back, so it's looking good there.
Yeah. It's that. I think that's going to be a sneaky, good, entertaining football game, and also a very.
And the Lions are 30th against running back, so just start everybody. Just start them.
Right.
Yes.
You got this game. Throw him out.
Mike Kazicki, start him.
And look, we got another question here from Darren, and I love this question. I think this is going to be more so aimed at you here, Chase. He wants to know what will be the perfect drink pairing for the Packers-Bills game. So, as the resident bartender and the resident Packer fan,
this is right up your alley right here.
What is it?
Get back to me in the second quarter of that game, and I'll tell you whether you're trying to forget it or celebrate it.
Well, I was going to say, does this feel like a fireball shots going crazy kind of game, or are you just with your Shiner Bock?
No, well, okay.
Don't you start with the Shiner Bock and then go from there, depending on the game?
For my standpoint, I would much rather. I've got a Leinenkugelsbach in the fridge.
Oh,
I've
nice.
got some,
I do like Leinenkugels.
Leinie's Oktoberfest. Leinenkugels are from right down the road here. They're literally the brewery's
nice.
less than an hour away from my house.
Yeah, they got a good catalog of
I've
drinks.
done the tour there. Yeah, it's a nationwide craft brewer. Essentially,
It is,
they're kind
yeah.
of like Sam Adams in that respect, where they've got a national reach, but they still do things a small way.
That'd be
Um,
fighting words to a
I
Bostonian,
would-
man.
I'll take
Kidding.
Leinenkugels over Sam Adams.
No,
I've
honestly,
always been that way.
For beer, I would too. Honestly, there's a few that I love by Sam Adams, but there's also a lot that I'm fine without. So I get it.
Yeah.
Right there, yeah.
No,
They
I
have more,
like some of the peripheral offerings from Sam Adams, but
Yes.
their base lager, I'm just not. it's
Yeah,
not-
yeah.
No, we're not,
Agreed.
no.
So yeah,
We're-
I would be pairing it right now. It's beautiful up here in Wisconsin right now. The last couple of days have been just gorgeous, which
What
is
the-
nice because it's normally wet and cold around here for Halloween. So I would be pairing it, with a nice Leinenkugels Oktoberfest or a Bach there. If it gets to the point where we want to forget about this, I might switch to old fashions. And that would be a brandy old fashioned for those of you out there who are not from
Ooh.
Wisconsin, not a whiskey old fashioned. We drink brandy old fashions up here.
I haven't
Okay.
had a brandy old
Throw a little-
fashioned before.
Oh man,
Then you're missing out.
So
I
I'm not
do
a
brandy
huge,
old fashioned sour.
I'm not a huge old fashioned fan. 'Cause I'm
no,
not a fan,
not the sour
I'm not a-
part. You
I'm
can
not
have
a
that.
fan of bitters. Like bitters is
No,
just not.
no.
I've tried it in a few different drinks. I'm not a fan of bitters, but I do like brandy. So
I actually have some designer bitters here from Woodford Reserve. I've got a chocolate. I've got an orange. I've got a spiced
Okay.
cherry. I've got a bunch.
I'm gonna have
So-
to make a trip to Wisconsin, and we're just gonna have
I'll
to
Yeah,
fire
we
you
talked
up.
spend the
about
weekend
this
sitting
before,
at
so-
sitting in your basement.
I'll give you a
That's right.
proper brandy old fashioned Wisconsin style. And well, yeah,
I would
you
try,
know
look.
that.
I'll try anything once.
There you have it. So that would be my answer there, Darren. And I go sour and I go with cherries. A lot of people go cherries sweet. He's asking again. Yeah,
Sweet,
I like to go sour, but with cherries.
sweet with cherries. There, I'm
Is
down.
mushrooms is a thing, and what is he talking about? Old
That's a-
fashioned stuff?
Yeah,
What
that's a
are we
big
talking
garnish.
about there? I don't
No,
know of any
no.
drink that you put a mushroom in.
Yeah, I've
No.
never seen that either. That's new to me.
We need
It's
some
all-
explanation on
You
this.
guys, well, no, you guys have seen Bloody Marys where they stuff cheeseburgers and donuts and
No,
every kind of plant life. You've
I
never seen
must
that?
say, I have not seen that.
sounds like a Guy
Oh,
Fieri
my
restaurant.
Lord. No, you got
That sounds just a little too busy right there.
Oh man, you get
A little.
Bloody Mary. You get some bacon thrown in there. You get a ton of olives.
I never
sprout-
met.
You get everything in there. But yeah, you garnish drinks with mushrooms, olives all the time up here, and not just.
Well, I know
martinis.
all.
Well, I'm a big
all of it.
mushroom fan, but I have never heard that before.
Nope,
All I know is that I've
it's
never
not my
met
thing.
anyone
But
who's.
it's not out of the question up here.
I've never met anybody who has had the thought, "Oh, this is a good idea. Let me drink my burger," like that.
No.
You've never seen that?
No, I haven't.
Normally, what they do is they'll stake it. They'll put a big a stick through it, kind of like
Yeah, like a
you know,
club sandwich stick, something.
yeah,
like that.
exactly. Yeah, but like big, right? Like a giant toothpick.
Sure.
Yeah, they'll stick that in there. Yeah, cheeseburgers on top, and I've seen donuts and yeah,
Man.
all kinds of plant life, that you can think of.
People are putting too much
Absolutely,
thought into that.
This
Bacon.
is why I don't drink Bloody Marys.
I
just-
don't either, so
I
you
just
can
don't
have
like
all
them.
of that.
It's too
I'm
much.
just not
for
big
me.
on tomato juice. I'll take the rest.
Me either. Tomato juice and me don't go together at all. That's not
Yeah,
happening.
there's things that I just don't mix with my alcohol. Tomato juice is one.
Oh,
Milk is,
yeah,
milk
yeah.
is another. Like
I'm down with tomatoes, but
I'm
tomato
not-
juice.
I'm not
It's not
down with
happening.
White Russians. Like I just can't do it. It's just not.
No,
It's 'cause
I've never
it's 'cause
actually
you
had a
don't use
White
milk,
Russian,
You got to
so
use cream. You got to use
Can't
heavy cream.
comment on that, but
No, I just the idea
wouldn't-
of cream
doesn't
milk,
look-
whatever.
wouldn't be one of the drinks I'd be reaching for.
You ever had a
I will
Colorado
say-
Bulldog?
What was that?
You ever had a Colorado Bulldog?
No.
That's got cream in it. That's good.
Well, then I won't have it.
Well,
Trace,
I'll make you a couple up, man.
you'll like what I made for a Halloween party yesterday. I made every year for trick or treating usually, but I did for this Halloween party. I made what's it called? A gold rum cider, warmed on the stove with fresh apples cut up in size, fresh cinnamon sticks. Let that simmer for like an hour or so, and then get it nice and warm and mixed in there. Pour the alcohol in late though, so you don't burn it all off, of course.
Right.
But then what I did for the first time this year is I took the apples and then threw them in a mix of cider, butterscotch, and cinnamon powder and then fry them. Well, not fry them, but grill them up on the griddle. Perfect, delicious apple pie. Little slice of apple pie, basically, with a little
Dang,
chicken
dude.
rub.
Okay.
I like
Oh
to-
yeah,
I like
you're
to
going
have-
a little above and beyond. I mean, I'm just mixing drinks. I'm not cooking for you.
Look, it's not fun if it's for me unless you do something different that you might suck at. But anyways, look, that's gonna do it for us here on this edition of Sunday Belly Up Fantasy Live. Before we go, it is still 14-10 Denver and London. Jacksonville just punted, and Denver's going to have the ball at their own 10 with about 8:18 left in the game. So this game is going to be winding down. Keep up to date on the Gamecast if you don't have ESPN Plus. But as always, thank you, Chase. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, me. We will see you next week, next Sunday, same time, same place, 11 o'clock, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you want to find us, bellyup.tv. Right. Thank you, Belly Up Sports. We will see you next week.
Slander.